you free. And that is the end of that story. But you already know that story, so we don't need to get into that one. Welcome back to GGA Viewer Stories number 3. Grab your popcorn, grab your soda, your beverage, your adult beverage. Heck, grab your loved ones and gather around the screen as we're about to go on another journey of GoofyGuysAdventures, Viewer Stories. If this is your first time here, welcome. For all the goofballs that have been here before, no need to do the pleasantries. Sick with it! Back at it again here on GGA Viewer Stories. If this is your first time watching this, there's 2 other iterations before this. Volume 1, Volume 2, Episode 1, Episode 2, whatever you want to call it. Tomato, tomato, whatever. Disney California Adventure, DCA, you call it whatever you want. What it is we take our subscribers, which we call our goofballs lovingly here, stories from our live streams, because a lot of times what we see the viewers watching will submit their Disney stories as we walk through the park, and we don't have enough time all the time to read because things are happening so quickly. So we created this upload where you can watch on demand of stories of fellow viewers, your fellow goofballs, our subscribers here at GoofyGuysAdventures submitting to us that we have never read before. Thank you guys for showing up to our 3rd episode of these, because we really have fun talking about your stories, and let's just jump right into them because that's what we like to do here. So we're going to start off with a short story plus some comments from our GGA viewers. So number 1, this short story / comment was submitted by GGA viewer Eddie Cadulo. My story was at Disneyland and DCA with my nieces and nephews. We all have had a great time. My favorite ride is Splash Mountain and Incredicoaster. The cast members were very helpful. Oh, that's awesome. Okay. So that's like a quick one, just Eddie giving us some insight on their family with their nieces and nephews, which I can relate to big time. You guys have probably seen Disney Reggie, one of my nieces, 22 years old, has been on there, our first moderator technically here on Goofy Guys Adventures. And then my other niece is listed as Elliot in the chat, always jumps in. So I can relate to nieces and nephews. And my other nephew, shout out to him, going through a FIRST Robotics championship. Well, going to the playoffs, I should say. Trying to get to the championship, Xavier, who I went to Disneyland, rode Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout with him for his first time. My nieces, I've rode plenty of rides with them, Incredicoaster like the first time, and then also Elliot, I've rode pretty much a lot of her Disney rides like Indiana Jones for the first time. So those are always fun to have. And yes, shout out to our cast members as always. Thanks, Eddie, for that story. This story was submitted by GGA viewer David Sabilis. If you know me, I mess up names. I'm so sorry. That's not on purpose. That's because Sebelius, Sabilis. Hi guys. My best memory of Disneyland and California Adventure was going there with my parents, brother, grandma, uncle, and cousins a month after DCA opened in 2001. I remember going on Soarin' over California and loving it. The best parts of the ride was nearly getting hit with the golf ball. I screamed and scared everyone. LOL. No, just kidding. That's too loud. I also loved flying over the orange grove and smelling the delicious oranges. I hope one day to go back to Disneyland and DCA with my family in the future and have another awesome vacation. Oh, that's awesome. Additional comments. Love your live stream and I enjoy watching them. With a smiley face. Well, we love you joining in just like we do with the rest of the goofballs, David. And quick comments on this one. People might not know right now, as we're filming this, it's end of March into April, which is Disney California Adventures Food and Wine Festival, usually always around this time of year when they are open, the park. And they have the California Adventure overlay with Soarin' over California. So that makes this really relevant, this story, because that is my favorite iteration. And I've said before, me and Rebecca, we had a pretty bad trip, our first time ever going alone with no like parental units, just me and her trying to go on an adventure. And it did rain most of the trip. We missed the fireworks because they didn't do them. We waited for them in the rain and cold. But right before we were about to leave, we had tickets to hop over to Disney California Adventure on the last day. And on the last day, we rode one of our last rides was Soarin' over California. And I think that changed our whole experience. And it was just one ride. So that's definitely something I can relate to. Thank you so much. Appreciate that, David. On to our next story. This story was submitted by GGA viewer Chloe Chan. First of all, let me start off with the fact that people who do not like thrilling rides and people who do like thrilling rides do not go well together. My mom always told me how the last time she went to Universal Studios, she got really dizzy and or got really scared from all the thrilling rides. Me, as her evil daughter, went to trick her into getting on at least one thrilling ride to see her reactions because I have never seen her reaction before on a thrilling ride. So once we got to Adventure Park, me and my sister kind of knew what to expect at the Radiator Springs Racers. My mom did not know what to expect other than hearing people screaming while they were passing by and when we were lining up for the ride. I can see where this is going. Me and my sister told her that it will be a peaceful race, nothing too thrilling, just so she could come with us because we don't want her to miss out on the ride like she missed Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians will probably, this is a side note, Guardians will probably kill her, but Radiator Springs probably won't, is what Chloe put. Once we got on the ride and it was time to race, she screamed loud, but Finn, I don't know how to say this, feminine? I ever only heard her scream like she's a lion or something because, well, mothers, you know. Haha, but the best thing is that she actually did enjoy it. Good thing she didn't pee herself. Not pee herself or throw up but she enjoyed it. I swear my mother is fine, is what Chloe put. So I get the theme from Chloe. She likes to terrorize her family members on rides and friends. Don't we all have friends and family, though? I frequently hear this. Thanks for sharing, Chloe, a goofball here amongst the rest of you all. Joining the live stream on a pretty occasional, frequent level, I'd say. And mentions how we all kind of have stories of where we've gotten people on a ride where we tell. It's usually parents and like older parents or maybe even grandparents where we kind of could see that they don't know much about what they're getting on, and we sell this like small picture of like, oh, it's not that bad. For me, I'll never forget my niece. It was actually at Universal Studios. She's like, Jurassic Park before it was Jurassic World. It's not that bad of a ride. And I was like, it looks like a water ride. And she's like, no. And people have said before it's not a water ride, but ask me how it turned out in the first row. All I remember is the first thing is we go up and then this thing shoots out water like 50 feet in the air and just coming down. And I thought, what have I got myself into? And then you see a T-Rex or whatever raptor looking and poof, just water all over my face. And yeah, the rest is history of soggy shorts. So that's where the soggy shorts comes from. Because Universal was hot that day, thankfully, but soggy shorts all day is not fun in the heat still. Calling you out, Disney Reggie, my niece. But Chloe, we always need one of you in the family because someone's got to give us the either the naiveness or the pleasantry of not knowing exactly what we're getting into, but at the end, knowing that we can test ourselves and have that fun at the park because that's what we're all looking for, right? A little bit of thrill, at least to get us all happy in that place that we can't do that anywhere else, right? Great story. This story was submitted by GGA viewer Genie Alicia. Hope I say that right. Alicia, if it's different, once again, welcome to GoofyGuysAdventures.
Not Jenny.
Genie.
Oh,
yeah. Jenny. For so long. I'm now Genie, as you guys all know. Genie. Thanks. Shout out to the moderators like Genie. Yes. So shout out to the moderators, as you guys all know yourself. Let's throw it out there. Quick shout out to Juan, Tam T, King B, Cinder Nina, Shan, Miss Garcia, Jetta Jade, and now Anastasia and Esme. Those are our moderators on the channel. And I just mentioned Disney Reggie shows up. And then always, not giving credit, Rebecca's in the background. You all know that in the middle of this video. So yeah, the #1 mod, I would say she holds a lot down more than that, including little baby mini killer whale taming, as he is not attacking us right now. So we're in a good zone. So we got to keep rolling on to Genie's story. I had gone to Disney World many times before my children. I did everything Florida parks, but this time as a single mom, I took my 3-year-old at that time. She's 18 now. Her first time at Disney World was all about the characters. When she saw Mickey and Minnie, she ran to them. It was an awe moment for everyone that could see. I had more Disney World adventures with my children. Now, this past year, 2022, I took my children to Disneyland by myself. I was scared at first, but once I knew how to relax and enjoy the moment, it was magical. I was also on the DAS pass. No rush anywhere. My son is autistic, and we had to be interviewed ahead of time. I have to say, I prefer Disneyland over Disney World. And there it is, folks. Boom, boom. Shots fired. The whole thing I read in that story, last line, quote, I have to say I prefer Disneyland over Disney World. Just kidding. No, a lot more important to the story. Genie, thanks for sharing this. Just more of a general one. Like, this is what we look for is like people that have had both Disney World and Disneyland. Those are like the major parks that you would see as options to go to. And she has a son that has autism on the spectrum. And what we've heard before, honestly, I had no idea that it was called DAS before I started doing the live stream. I don't have anyone in my family that has been able to get the DAS pass, so it was a great learning experience doing Goofy Guys Adventures live stream to understand that Disneyland and Disney World, I believe, offers this option. And for you to be able to enjoy the magic for things like this is what's really important, because when you take your kids, it's already hard to try and just be able to enjoy the moment because you're worrying, you're still your kids, you want to make sure to have a good trip, but now you have that one less worry about when you get on the rides. Can at least be able to control the timing of at least knowing to set expectations, because that's with kids, right? You got to set those expectations. Just like, when are we there yet? When are we there yet? We've talked about before in my live stream about one of the most common things is, how long have we been waiting? I'm hungry. It's almost like the common thing with kids, in line. So this is great informationally. Thanks, Genie, for sharing. And also really warms our heart to know that you love Disneyland and Disney World. You're good. You're cool. Shots fired. I'm going to lose 10,000 viewers. This story was submitted by GGA Viewer Song Daddy. Another, I would say, goofball we see a bit in our live streams, so appreciate you guys submitting in. Back in the 80s, the area around Space Mountain was very different from today. Ooh, we're going back in time, folks. The entrance was an escalator directly in front, not like the ramp that's off to the side today. That escalator took you up to the queue. Not now, below the queue in front of Space Mountains was a stage, dance floor, and benches. During the day, there would be a fun stage with the Disney characters, but certain nights there would be dancing. Now, this was the 80s, when disco was the norm, and I was going to say EDM, and one popular dance move was called the bump. The bump. Essentially, lady bump, that's just me, lady bump, ooh yeah, there's a song from the 70s that says that. It literally says lady bump. Essentially, as you were dancing with your partner, bend your knees slightly and bump your hips together. Little did we know that there were dance Nazis. Men were wearing dark blue blazers and white trousers. Well, that would literally run up to a couple and stop them from doing the bump. Never gave a reason, just said you can't do that. We always enjoyed starting to do the bump till they would stop us. Now that area is covered over and is no longer in use. You can find the bump on YouTube, the bump.move. So look it up, _ the bump.move. Interesting. This is cool, Song Daddy. Thanks for submitting the story. And yeah, there's a song I know that's a disco song. It's called Lady Bump. But the funny thing I think is there was people like separating you, because it's like the era, right? It's so funny. There's the Elvis hips, right? And then now you have this, and it's like it tells not only a time that the park was yesterland, as that's the word people use for when the park was previously what was there, but it also gives you the time of the era. And to know the 80s, we all picture the 80s for the synth pop style, but to know, like, yeah, 70s was probably still in, and you guys were dancing out there, doing the still bringing in the John Stay Alive. That's really cool. So, Song Daddy, thanks for sharing that story. This story was submitted by GGA viewer GMan. I'm looking forward to this one. Another great viewer on our live stream. When I was a kid years ago, We lived less than 40 minutes from the happiest place on earth. So we visit Disneyland quite often. It was almost always a fun time, but sometimes not so much for my dad. One of my mom's old high school flames used to play clarinet in the Disneyland band that played on Main Street and at the old Carnation Ice Cream Pavilion. Understandably, Dad didn't like this occasionally times that we'd run into that guy. My brother and I were little tykes and we didn't understand the whole situation, but we knew it was awkward. Of course, Mom loved the attention. Turns out we had nothing to worry about. Mom and Dad were happily married for over 40 years. That is funny. Yeah. Look, I mean, GGA Viewer, GMan, I think a lot of people can relate to, like, there's just so much stuff that happens at the park you don't think about. It just blows my mind that seeing that you were local, I could see how your mom would have had someone maybe they grew up local to that they stayed in the area. It blows my mind when I see people I know at the park at the same time. So there's already that little bit of like, oh, they're here. Like, that's crazy. Like, we're at Disneyland and they're here. So there's already that going. And then now your dad always having to be like, oh, there's that guy. I know how it feels because every time Rebecca sees Thor, every time she sees one of these characters or whatever, I gotta deal with, oh, there's that guy again. Here we go. Mr. Dreamy Pants or whatever. So last but not least, a comment from GMan says, thanks Goofy Guys Adventures for all the fun. I no longer live as close to Disneyland as I did in my youth, but I can get my fix by watching your wonderful live streams. Keep up the great work. Aw, it's a good place to, it's a good place to wrap today's Goofy Guys Adventures, GGA Viewer Stories. Thank you guys for submitting your stories. And if you do have a Disney story that you would like to share with us here, and it doesn't have to be, you know, like, it could be anything, really. Just keep it magical, as we say here in Goofy Guys Adventures, to not get too much in the weeds. Like, it's okay to walk the lines of us being funny as adults, but we also want to make sure that kids can see this too, is what I'm trying to say. So keep that in mind, but like, still, you know, you could get real in detail with these things too, but these are great. And I honestly, what makes the content keep coming, and we appreciate you guys because your support and being on the channel, your likes, your subscriptions, bringing other goofballs with you to subscribe to the channel. And then last but not least is our definitely support from our members, which I want to give a proper shout out here. So for our memberships, if you didn't know, Goofy Guys Adventures on YouTube has a way to support the channel via membership. If you go to our homepage, you'll see the different tiers: Goofball Pro Max, Hot Cocoa Debate Team, and the Sick With It Crew. So the ones that get shout outs on our videos and uploads and on our live streams are our Sick With It Crew, but on our videos we also include our Hot Cocoa Debate Team. So in our Hot Cocoa Debate Team we have Yoli A, and then for our Sick With It Crew we have Genie, Alicia, Jonathan Hughes, 1337 Guardian, and Charming Girl. So special shout out to the support of those goofballs, bringing their support via a monthly membership and giving us that little extra kick. It does a lot of things for us here. It obviously, you know, if you think about just in regards to having the cost of data, we do a lot of giveaways, so we pay a lot of postal fees, and that stuff adds up. And then the gas, like I've always mentioned, just to get out there to keep doing the live stream stuff like that. That's what we put it towards. We really, the goal is to put it towards giveaways in the end, so we could get better at making you guys have like something to say we want to say to give back to you guys too. So it's all kind of one big pot that gets separated at the end of the day and really does keep literally the lights going. So we appreciate you all. One last thing that I want to share here that I want to say, it's our first time getting some art here on Goofy Guys Adventures, and this is shout out to Jessica. She met up with us actually in a live stream recently and said, I had something to give you, and I had no idea that she was going to come out, and we put it in our Discord, so you could join our Discord. Our links in our channel too, where you could see she put this up in our submit drawings, also our general section. Just a big shout out to Jessica for doing our first fan art. Really, this is me and Rebecca. That's me looking all goofy, and that's my goofy gal Rebecca there. She's got her spirit jersey on, as she would, and then also her ears, like that's her style. And then there's the logo, all done by the art of a viewer, Jessica. Once again, big shout out to her. And I just want to say, Jessica D, thank you so much. This is our first, and we want to make sure to showcase it here. Feel free, you guys, you want to send us stuff, we have a goof box, we call it, if you want to send us special trinkets like that. If you can't meet us in the park, but we're always up to meet you in the park, you can find us on Discord, or you can DM me on Instagram at GoofyGuysAdventures. You could even email me, GoofyGuysAdventures@gmail.com. And we could always find out a way to maybe coordinate. Or you could just, stalk me, and track me down, and watch the live stream. That's cool too. There's no such thing as stalking when you're live streaming. Let's just put it like that. So that wraps it up. I want to thank you for coming to episode 3. Keep it magical. Can't wait to see you guys on the next live stream or on the next episode of GGA Viewer Stories. Can't wait to read your story next. Mr. Hottie McAllister. Yeah, that's how I feel. Just like that. Broken. Things falling apart. No, I'll never be Thor. It's okay.
Princess Peach.
You have to watch the live stream to get that reference. Here we go.
Are you okay over there?
This is going to be in the outtakes. I already know it.
Yep. You messed it all up.
Well, you know what? I know what. Guys Adventures. Trésame, oh la la. I said vacuum. Roof.
Wow.
Gotcha. See? I caught it.
We're good there.
Okay.
What was that?
My nose is itchy.
Oh, I'm like, okay. You need to sneeze?
A little bit.
Well, then sneeze.
I think I'm good.
Ew.
Let's go, Oakland. So last.
Yeah, for talking crap.
Sound like a pig. Oh, is he really gonna come in the last minute?
Yep. Again.
Wow, you just like supervising the end of it, oh.
Yeah.
And is how we're gonna end the show now? Is this how we're always gonna end the show? Excuse me, sir, again? Wow.
Ooh.
I'm gonna get some food. Oh, he really wants to be on. Is this gonna cost him? Oh shoot, we're in trouble now. Whoa, we're in trouble. Cut it, cut the camera, cut the camera, cut the camera, cut it. This is not going well.
So mad. Oh, he's mad that you interrupted his eating.
That's gonna be bad. All bad. That's how it goes. Love them, they hate you.